My brother got a full scholarship to Stanford while I paid my own way through community college. Now he's asking me to co-sign his $90,000 student loan. Growing up, everything was about my brother's potential. Private tutors 3 times a week, $2,000 SAT prep courses, a college application coach who charged by the hour. Meanwhile, I got a library card and was told to figure it out myself. When acceptance letters came in, my parents threw him a party with a custom cake that said Stanford bound in red frosting. I got into the local community college and my dad patted my shoulder and said, "At least you're doing something productive." I remember sitting at that party, watching everyone congratulate him and feeling completely invisible. My aunt kept asking him about dorm life and meal plans. My uncle wanted to know if he'd join a fraternity. Nobody asked me anything about my plans. When I tried to mention that I'd also been accepted somewhere, my mom shushed me because my brother was giving a speech about his dreams. The difference didn't stop there. My parents paid his entire first year up front. Room, board, textbooks, spending money. They set him up with a new laptop, bought him a mini fridge, drove him out there in a rented SUV packed with stuff from Bed Bath & Beyond. When I started community college 2 months later, I took the bus with a backpack and a used calculator I bought off someone from work. I worked 30 hours a week at a grocery store while taking classes full-time. My brother sent home photos of football games and parties. I studied in the break room during my lunch shifts. He joined clubs and networked. I ate ramen 4 nights a week to save money. But I graduated in 4 years, debt-free, with a 3.8 GPA that nobody in my family ever asked about. Meanwhile, my brother's Stanford adventure lasted exactly 3 semesters. He called home junior year saying he needed to find himself and was taking a gap year in Europe. My parents were concerned but supportive. They said he was soul-searching, that not everyone follows a traditional path. They even helped fund the first few months of his trip. He spent 2 years bouncing around hostels, posting pictures from Barcelona and Amsterdam, talking about how he was discovering what really mattered in life. My parents framed it as brave. When I suggested maybe he should come home and finish his degree, my dad told me I was being negative and that I didn't understand creative people. I kept my head down, got hired at a tech startup right after graduation, spent 5 years learning everything I could, working weekends, taking on extra projects, moved up from customer support to project manager to senior analyst, bought my own car, my own apartment, built my own life with zero help from anyone. My brother came back from Europe last year, broke and directionless. No degree, no work experience, nothing but stories and a closet full of clothes he'd bought on maxed out credit cards. My parents welcomed him home like a returning hero, set him up in his old room, paid off 2 of his credit cards, told him to take his time figuring things out. Last Tuesday, he showed up at my apartment unannounced. I opened the door and he was standing there with my parents, holding a folder of paperwork. My mom had brought cookies like this was a social visit. They came in and sat on my couch, and that's when my brother slid the papers across my coffee table. He wanted to go back to Stanford to finish his degree. Apparently, they'd let him re-enroll, but his credit was completely destroyed. Medical bills from a scooter accident in Greece, 3 maxed cards, collections notices. No bank would touch him. He needed a co-signer for a $90,000 private student loan. My parents nodded along as he explained. "It's a lot, I know," my brother said, "but you're doing so well now. You can afford to help me out." My mom reached over and squeezed my hand. "Family helps family," she said softly. "This is what we do for each other." I looked at the 3 of them sitting there, so confident I'd say yes, so sure that I owed him this because we shared DNA. I picked up the paperwork and read through it slowly while they waited. The interest rate was predatory. The terms were brutal. This loan would follow whoever signed it for decades. I set the papers down and pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned the screen toward my brother. This is what working through community college and not dropping out looks like. His eyes widened at the balance. My parents leaned in to look. "I'm not co-signing anything," I said, "but I'll give you the same advice Dad gave me when I started college. Figure it out yourself." My mom's face crumpled. She started crying, saying I was being cruel, that he'd made mistakes but deserved a second chance. My dad's voice got loud, calling me selfish, saying I was punishing my brother for having ambition. My brother just stared at the floor, his jaw clenched. Walked to my bedroom and came back with a white envelope I'd kept in my desk drawer for 8 years. I dropped it on the table in front of my parents, and my Stanford rejection letter slid halfway out. They had absolutely no idea I'd even applied.